Welcome to Wednesday, hippies. And if it's not Wednesday, that's okay. I know some of you catch up on these and binge listen during the week. And you probably just freaked out a little bit. You're like, crap, is it Wednesday? No, it's whatever day it is. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. That is true, isn't it, Jared? It doesn't matter what day it is that you listen to Student of the Gun. The most important thing is that you're listening.
Exactly.
And that you need to listen a little bit louder.
What Professor Paul has to say is always relevant. So it doesn't matter what day he says it.
It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. It doesn't matter what day it is.
And for those of you that have been asking, sorry to cut you off,
no problem.
For those of you that have been asking, Professor Paul is my father. He's not my uncle. He's not my brother. He's my dad.
People have been asking that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's new people all the time. They're like, what is the relationship here between these two guys? And why do they have the same last name? So that would be why. Because he is my son, and I am his father. Your father he is, says Yoda. And I have a cup to prove it. But that's not the cup I'm using today. Matter of fact, we're doing a symbiotic relationship thing. We're both drinking out of our American Association of Firearms Users, also known as AAFU coffee mugs. These are not the adult coffee mugs. There are adult coffee mugs? We don't have them, though?
Sure. We'll go with yes.
Well, I mean,
you go to AmericanAssociationofFU.com, click on the little shop tab or store or whatever it says.
I'm going to go to it right now through the magic of internet technology.
There you go.
I'm going to use the World Wide Web.
Whoa.
There's this thing called the World Wide Web. I know you kids are like, what?
You know what's funny? Last night we were out there talking after we got done training.
Uh-oh.
And the Big John Brown, he watches or he knows about Doctor Who. And it's funny because he had the TARDIS sound on his phone, and Dixon goes, what was that sound? And Big John Brown goes, it was from Doctor Who. And Dixon goes, Doctor Who? And he's like, exactly. I was like,
we're going to play that game now. Oh, hey, Jared, while I'm talking to the folks in the Student of the Gun listening audience, what I want you to do is I want you to go over to the American Association of FU.com, and I want you to click on the store tab, and then I want you to tell me what you see, because maybe what you're seeing and what I'm seeing is not the same thing. But it is Wednesday. It is still the same week that it was yesterday, and you're like, man, it's crazy how that stuff works out. But our SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk today is going to be brought to you by Jared. Jared's got a SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk. I see you've got that up. Before we do that, I want to remind you about our sponsor of the week, or our weekly featured sponsor. It's Velocity Triggers at velocitytriggers.com. Go over to their Facebook page and give them a like or a thumbs up or a message or a tweet or what the heck ever. I don't know what you do. Whatever it is that you kids are doing today, but make sure that they know at Velocity Triggers that you appreciate the fact that they support us, because we could not do this. We would not be able to do this. You would not be able to listen to it for free, for nothing, like you do, if it were not for the support of the select few in the firearms industry that just seem to get it. And the guys over at Velocity Triggers get it. They do. They're like-minded individuals, so make sure that you give them a thanks. Did you do that, Jared? Did you go over to that?
Yeah, I did that, and I'm seeing the same thing you are.
Yeah, so you might want to send old
I'm doing that right now.
Jeremy a note that says, hey, brother, we're pimping the site, and yeah, there you go. What else is going on? Well, I hope that you yesterday's show with the near miss, I wasn't kidding. That made me want to puke describing that. But I guess it was a little bit, it was cathartic, me sharing it with you, and I hope that maybe you learned a little bit of something. Maybe if you're driving, you're like, ooh, I better put down my phone, or I better put my hands on the wheel and look up. And how many times have you guys been going down the road? Let's face it, you and I, us together, we are the few people left in the world that actually are paying attention to what the hell is going on around us. Everyone else is sucked into their fantasy football and their iPhones, and they're dancing with the Bruce Jenner, whatever kind of mental breakdown that thing is having. And they're so freaking distracted, they don't know what's going on in the world. And they're so distracted that they're becoming a hazard to you and I. Exactly. We have thousands upon thousands of American individuals, human beings in America, that are just going through life with their heads firmly ensconced up their rectums. And we got to watch out for those people because they're not paying attention. We already know that. Are you ready to do the? I'm just chatting with the folks over here. But if you're ready to do the SWAT Fuel Fitness talk, I'm ready to close my mouth.
You want to do the featured sponsor?
I already did that.
You did?
Yeah. Well,
I
you
was
were
over here messing around
over there messing with the AAFU.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So, yeah, I guess I can go ahead and do the.
You know they're waiting. It's Wednesday, so they're itchy.
You know
They're
they want to
scooting around in their seats. Ooh, 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 ooh.
They want to hear the song. All right, like I said yesterday, I want to talk about what I'm going to call the prison syndrome. And this is actually, it's kind of funny because it's actually a positive outlook on being a prisoner.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this one.
We were talking yesterday it was actually in the gym, and somebody brought up the fact that prisoners do not have access to supplements, but yet they still are pretty in pretty good physical shape. Why is that? It's because they're they have nothing else to do, but their dedication, they know that they have to be physically fit to stay alive. They have to do that. They have to make sure, and they adapt. And we were talking yesterday about adapting, and it made me think. I was like, wow, well, prisoners, they really do adapt to what they need to do, whether they are scum or not. They are humans, and humans adapt. Mm-hmm. So
they don't have protein powder and mixing and shakes.
They don't have protein
like
powder.
that.
They don't have punching bags. They have mattresses. They have weights. They have push-ups. They have sit-ups.
Well,
they have chairs that they do dips on. I'm sure that's how they do it.
Hopefully, if the prisons are intelligent, they remove the free weights from them.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't remember the riots in Ohio? The prison riots in Ohio where they used the free weights. They used the bench. Or not the bench, but the bench bar, and the weights. Mm-hmm. They used them to batter down an armored reinforced door to get to the other side to basically kill and mutilate the guards.
That's a serious bench bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. The one that's in the gym right there. There's a
reinforced door.
There's a metal
that's
door.
Crazy.
And you take 3 or 4 guys and you pick
one
it up.
bar, yeah.
And you put a couple 100 pounds on it, and you run it into the door like a battering ram, like they did 500,000 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
They battering rammed the freaking door down
with weights.
Yeah.
Well, there's another adaptation.
Yeah, most after that, most prison systems, they're like, maybe that was a clue, and we shouldn't give the monsters free weights. Yeah, don't give the monsters free weights, morons.
My point is that these prisoners that are in prison, they don't have. I don't know how well-rounded their meals are or what they eat because I've never been
better than what you eat.
Yeah, I've never been in prison.
No, okay.
So I don't know how their food is, but I'm sure it's not a protein shake in the morning and then 2 hours later it's another meal and then 2 hours later it's another protein shake. But yet they still are physically fit. So why can't you be?
Well, because it's hard and it will require my dedication.
I'm tired of excuses.
Are you tired of excuses? You tired of people offering you excuses and preloading excuses? And come on now, you're just being mean. Now, real quick, for those of you that may be new to the show, you're like, what is all this fitness stuff about? Well, number one, Student of the Gun is about your mind. It is about expanding your mind, and your body is the life support unit for your brain. And if you have an unhealthy body, if your body is sluggish, if your body is weak, if your body is out of shape, not because you have a physical infirmity, but because you're lazy. And being lazy is not a physical infirmity. Sorry. Although they're probably working on that. You're probably going to be able to get a handicap plate for your car because your doctor has deemed you to have like chronic physical laziness. But the fact of the matter is you cannot have a healthy mind. You cannot have a sharp, intelligent, focused mind if your body is filled with Doritos and you're sitting in a beanbag chair typing, on your blog. So here's the deal. We talk about fitness because we want you to be a well-rounded individual human. We want you to participate in the system. We want you to be sharp. And when it comes to your mind, I was thinking about this the other day, Jared. You guys, well, you may or may not know, depending on how long you've been with us. I became a United States Marine in 1987. I spent a lot of time with Marine Corps infantry. I've since that day, way back there, going on 30. Holy crap! It'll be 30 years soon. But since that time, I've spent a lot of time with dedicated, hardcore, focused individuals, people who have been members of the. I'm very fortunate to know several members of what they call CAG. CAG is the Combined Arms Group. For you civilians or your citizens, you probably know them as the Delta Force, Special Operations guys. And one thing that they all have is they have a personal drive. They have an individual dedicated drive, and they're all very hard to impress. Did you ever notice that, Jared, with any of the pipe hitter type individuals that I've introduced you to over the years, that if you could use that phrase, you say, hard to impress.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Definitely.
They're very hard to impress. And you say, well, that's because they're arrogant and they're stuck up. No, it's not actually. They're hard to impress because they examine everything they hear and everything they see, everything they experience. They examine it under with what we call critical thinking or analytical thinking.
You want to know the first person that comes to mind?
Who?
When you say
hard to impress?
Yes. Guess.
Just say it.
Bill.
Oh, Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our retired. I don't know if Bill was a senior chief. I think Bill retired as a senior chief from the teams, from the SEAL teams. But, yeah, he's very, very hard to impress. And the reason is because these guys, when they see something, they view something, they don't embrace it from an emotional standpoint. People who run their lives based on emotions are very easy to manipulate. And they're very easy to impress because they're being impressed not by facts, but by feelings. And I was driving down the road the other day, Jared, and I was thinking about this thing. I was thinking about how when I was in the Marine Corps, about how, and especially in the infantry, how infantry soldiers, Marines, are very hard to impress. It's difficult. They're difficult to impress. And you're saying, it's because they're a bunch of, arrogant sons of bitches or whatever. Well, that's not really it. The fact is they're hard to impress because when you've done things, when you've been places, when you slept in the rain in the jungle, when you've slept in a hole in the ground in the desert, when you've humped until your butt cheeks were bleeding from the canteen covers rubbing on your fanny, till you have raw spots on you and just keep going and going and going and going. When you've done things like that, you become it's hard to impress you. It's like that meme that I showed you the other day that I can't say. The guy says, "I wake up with a blank harder than your job."
Yeah.
It was essentially, it was a meme. It was a guy who said, he goes, "Oh, you want $15 an hour? I wake up with a beep harder than your job every day." So yeah, that's the kind of people we're talking about.
That's awesome. I forgot about that meme.
Yeah. So what I want from you, what I would like you to be able to do as a student of the gun, is I want you to be hard to impress. Not based upon arrogance and not based upon, some type of a self-appointed self-aggrandizement, I want you to be hard to impress because you're learned. Yes, I used that term correctly, Jared. Because you've read, you've been educated, you've trained, you have experience. That's why I want you to be hard to impress. I don't want you to be like these mush-brain mongrels that are every time something shiny or new or distraction comes along, they're like, oh, look, it's a person who's having a mental breakdown, and TMZ is going to tell me all about it. I want to watch. Look, men running around in brightly colored uniforms. No, I want you to be hard to impress. I want you to analyze things. And I want you to analyze it based upon your experience and your education. And you're like, well, how do I get that? Well, you're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to actually knuckle down, and because no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to force you to. It's kind of like the whole taking the horse to the water and so forth. I can't force you to read. I can't force you to train. I can't force you to get experience. Only you can do that. Only you can have that personal drive. So if we're talking about SWAT Fuel, we're talking about our fitness update. Do you have that drive to do whatever it is, whatever it takes? Well, you don't understand. I can't be fit. I don't have access to a gym like you do. Do you have access to gravity and the earth? Oh, you do? Then you're out of excuses. Thank you very much.
And I want you. Are you done with that thought?
Yeah, but make sure you give them the promo code.
Oh yeah, the SWAT Fuel. Wow, that just completely threw a stick in my thought process. But the promo code, if you want to save some money on your SWAT Fuel order, go to swatfuelstore.com. Use the promo code SOTG2015, and you can save. I believe that gets you 10%.
Yep.
If you're a grad program member, go to the email that you got last week, click on the link, and use that code that I gave you. You get 20%. And what I was going to say is I want you guys to be the person in the gym. I want you to be the partner that calls people out when they give you stupid excuses. Like, I can't go to the gym today. I almost said something that I can't really say.
Yeah, you can't say that on the air. Careful, this is the public hour.
I can't go to the gym today. I'm too tired. Yeah. It's like, get your butt out of bed and go to the gym.
It's like, are you in traction? Do you have a cast on? No? Then go to the gym.
Yeah. Don't let people get away with stupid excuses, because all you're doing is enabling them.
And it's not necessarily the gym. It could be anything that helps you grow.
The range.
The range. How about picking up a piece of dead tree and running your eyes over it for 30 minutes a day? Well, can I just do that with my iPhone? Yeah, I guess you can if that makes you happy. Read, study, research. It'll refresh your brain.
Well, so my question to you is, if you read a book on a Kindle, it still exercises your brain the same way as a paper book, correct?
Oh, I don't know the exact science of it, but probably.
Yeah,
maybe.
Just because I know audiobooks aren't the same.
But yeah, audiobooks are not the same as actual physical reading, where you take your eyes and, that you guys understand that that's exercising your brain, right? You get that? And the reason that there are so many functional morons, there are so many functionally retarded people on planet Earth today, is because none of them read anymore. And when they do, they don't understand anything that has more than 2 syllables.
This quote just popped up, and it kind of fits right in with the audiobook. It says, doing just a little bit during the time we have available puts you that much further ahead than if you took no action at all. So an audiobook is better than no action at all.
That is
true.
But
an actual physical book is better than an audiobook.
That is true. Because you are exercising your mind. And also, one of the things that you want to do, I think you should do, and I don't do it as often as I should, but I really dedicate myself. Grab yourself some quiet time, spend 30 minutes and read. No books, no phones, no distractions, no wives, no kids, no husbands, no nothing. Grab a book, go somewhere, and take that time for you and just read.
Speaking of,
how many of you actually do that? You're like, you don't understand, Paul, I have a busy life. I have a busy life too. Everybody has a busy life. They're like, I'm busy. Unless you're on welfare, everybody is busy, and people on welfare haven't even woken up yet, so they're not listening to me. But the fact of the matter is, take that time for yourself. You'll appreciate it. Every once in a while, I can't do it all the time, but I really like to be able to grab a cup of coffee and to go out and sit quietly in the morning before all the activity starts. Like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how your activity works, but around here, if I can around 8 o'clock sit with a cup of coffee and just read for 30 minutes or so. Have that quiet time to start your day.
Is what I do when I read, since we're talking about reading here, is I sit down, pop in my headphones, and I listen to classical music while I read because it helps me absorb the information better. And speaking of picking up a book...
Listen to you, baby Einstein.
Yeah. Speaking of picking up a book, a lot of you have picked up the Faith and the Patriot book that Dad wrote, and he doesn't really talk much about it anymore. I don't know why. Maybe he should. But he's kind of humble about this particular book. And what I want you guys to do is, I know that a lot of you have picked it up, a lot of you have read it, but I'm only seeing a couple reviews on studentofthegungear.com and on Amazon.com. It's in both places. You can at studentofthegungear.com, you can obviously get an autographed copy from Dad. Amazon is not an autographed copy; it's just the book, but it still has great information. So no matter where you pick it up, get the book. And if you've already read it, please leave a review. Go to Amazon.com, search Faith and the Patriot, and then leave a review there, or go to studentofthegungear.com, or both if you feel so inclined. And if you guys don't want to actually search for it, go to studentofthegunradio.com, click on the show notes for episode, 248? Episode 248, and click on the links in there. There's one link to Amazon, one link to Student of the Gun Gear. Go leave an honest review. That's what we want.
That's right.
We prefer awesome reviews.
Leave it honest. If people... Here's the thing, Jared. It's called intellectual honesty.
Yeah.
If someone read the book legitimately, if they read it and they can look at me and say, okay, I started at the beginning, I read all the way through, I got to the end, and I don't like it. Okay, rock on. Drive on. We're probably never going to be friends because your mind is so warped and twisted that I don't even know what to say to you. But the fact is, if you legitimately read it all the way through and you're like, I don't like it, great. Rock on. You read it.
Tell us why.
Tell me why. But what we get a lot here it's everywhere. It's not just us. We're not even close to having exclusivity on this. People that, I don't like them because I heard that they said You did? Yeah, you're a bunch of derb. It's like, really? Because you say that based upon, well, what did we say or what did we do that gives you that opinion? Well, I heard somebody showed me a picture and I was like, you're stupid. Maybe you might want to be a little intellectually honest with yourself and actually listen to what we do. We're not hiding. Jared and I, we're not hiding what we do. Everything is public except for the grad program hour. And if you don't like it based upon what you hear, and now there are some, like, people that have been infected with vaginitis across the nation that don't like what they hear because it hurts their little emotions. It hurts their feelings. And their lives are based upon feelings. And that's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about that.
Here's the deal, guys. We develop future products based upon the reviews we get for the current products. Because we like to give you what you want. And the only way we know what you want is if you tell us. So go leave a review on this book.
What you want? Somebody did a song about that once. You know what I want to do?
I'm going to go.
You know what I want to do?
Visit. Never mind.
Right.
I won't say that on the public hour.
All right, brownells.com. That's what you're going to do. You're going to visit brownells.com.
There you go.
And while you're there, you're going to check out the new products category, and you can order yourself some Duracoat. What? Yes, you can. Duracoat. You can order yourself some Frog Lube from brownells.com, or you can go to froglube.com. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Now, you can't order Century Arms guns from Brownells yet, or can you? I don't know. But Century Arms is the sponsor of the mobile app, and they are a sponsor of Student of the Gun Radio, and they also are giving you guys 25% off a purchase of a TP9 SA. That's right, SA. If you want to save $25, take that $25 and apply it towards ammunition, you can do that. Or maybe apply it towards purchasing an extra magazine or something crazy like that. And then finally, once you get all that jazz together, and you can buy ammo from Brownells. Did you know that? You guys know that you can buy ammo from Brownells? Yes, you can. Go to Crossbreed Holsters at crossbreedholsters.com, and they will help you carry that gun. Speaking of carrying guns, Jared, yesterday I was out at the Hard Rock, and I took myself a cigar, and I was just relaxing there at the Hard Rock. And the guy next to me ordered a Jack Daniels and a Diet Coke, and I figured he must have been carrying a 40. All right, the next story comes to us from Ohio. Ohio? What's going on up there in Ohio? Well, in Ohio, apparently they're just launching bullets all higgledy-piggledy and just wondering where they're going to come down. No. I was made aware of this because I have eyes and ears on the ground in the Buckeye State. So I went ahead and I punched in the keywords, man struck, bullet, head, Ohio, and I got this story. This comes to us from CBSNews.com, and it's referenced, the author is CrimeSider, the CrimeSider staff. So no one actually wanted to put their individual name. It wasn't important enough of a story to put an individual name. It's like, yeah, we had a bunch of people throw some crap together, and we call it a news story.
Wow. Kitron, I remember that.
Yeah, Kitron. That's where they have the auction. You want to go to the auction in Kitron?
What? There was a...
You want to go get...
Grandpa used to work there at Auto
to
Shop or something.
Kidron Auto.
Was it Kidron Auto?
Yeah, there's a place called Kidron Auto.
I remember.
Amish boy struck in the head by stray bullet in rural Ohio. And they pulled a generic Amish buggy. And there's no way that buggy right there is in Kidron, Ohio, because it's way too fancy. But it doesn't matter. Dateline, Kidron, Ohio. Authorities say a 17-year-old Amish boy was struck in the head by a stray bullet while plowing in rural northeast Ohio. WEWS-TV reports that the boy was shot Thursday morning. This is a week ago, as you're hearing this, a week ago Thursday. In Kidron with a .22 caliber bullet that lodged in his head. Investigators don't know who fired the shot and say it's possible that someone was hunting squirrels someone hunting squirrels who hit the teen accidentally. The boy was using a horse-drawn plow at the time. Police say he noticed he was bleeding, walked home, told his father he was injured. The family does not have a phone because they are Amish and they don't have phones. So they went next door, and the neighbor dialed 911. The youth was taken to Altman Hospital in Canton. X-ray showed a bullet lodged in his head. Actually, when they say lodged in the head, that's kind of misleading for those of you. It was lodged in the scalp, like his cranium. It wasn't in his cranial vault.
Yeah.
It wasn't inside where his brain is.
It's a .22. I don't...
Yeah, it wasn't inside.
That won't make it through the skull.
It didn't get all the way through the skull into his brain. Because, and you're like, well, how do you know? Because the bullet was removed and he was released that day. If they did brain surgery on him, they probably wouldn't have released him that day. I'm not a doctor. I know there might be doctors out there like, dude, I'm so good that I can do brain surgery on you and send you home tonight. I know there are those guys out there. But and I'm not making light. This is the bullet showed that said Wayne County Sheriff's Captain John Hunter. Well, thank you, John Hunter, for giving us that update. So, anywho, here's the update on the story. It made the news, and the guy who launched the bullet came forward, and it was another Amishman. And he told the sheriff's deputies that he was trying to shoot pigeons out of the air with his .22 rifle. And now here's what I want you guys to pay attention to. The sheriff's deputies, they did their little investigation, figured out where the shot was fired from and where the kid was hit at, and it was a half a mile away. Remember when you used to buy .22 ammo and it said, caution, bullets can travel up to 1.5 miles or whatever, can travel up to a mile? I remember when I was not a little kid, but I was a teenager, and you'd buy .22 ammo in the cardboard boxes, and it would say, caution, bullets may travel up to a 1 mile or whatever. Yeah, because .22 rifles are not toys, and you shouldn't just point them up in the air and crank rounds off. And you're like, what? You shouldn't. That's crazy talk. And no, this was not. And you know what came out of this, Jared? When I first saw this, I was like, oh, geez, here they come out of the woodwork. It's the muzzle down guys. Here they come. Can you hear them? It's all the muzzle down guys. They're like, see, this proves it. This proves you should never go muzzle up, ever, in the ever. Now, his muzzle wasn't pointed straight directly up in the air. It was angled. Like when you go from 90 degrees and you angle it up to shoot at a bird, yeah, you're just arcing the bullet. And so here's the deal. I guess the moral of the story is, don't do that. Don't be that guy. And if you're going to shoot at pigeons with a 22, for the love of all that's holy, use birdshot or use that CCI 22 shot. You're like, but it doesn't go very far, Paul. Yeah, I know. But you can shoot pigeons out of a barn with it if that's what you need to do. I've heard people do that. That's what I've been told. I've been told that when you shoot pigeons with that shot from about 15 feet away, that they go pfft, and feathers go everywhere. At least that's what I was told. All right, so if you're out shooting with your 22, mind your... What are the safety rules, Jared? How many are there? Like 5 or 6 or 7? Or
that really depends on who you ask.
47 universal safety rules?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on where you are. It's not just 4. Oh, no. But number 4 is know your target, what's around it, and what's beyond it. And if you don't know what's beyond it, you might want to think first before you start launching bullets in that direction. Are we ready to announce the PLS Enhanced yet, or are we still holding on to that?
We can go ahead and announce it.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, hippies. You asked for it, so we're going to give it to you. The Pocket Lifesaver Enhanced, or the Enhanced Pocket Lifesaver 3.0. What is enhanced about it? Well, we basically took the Pocket Lifesaver. Enhance. I said that to your brother the other day. I was doing that. Enhance. And he's like, what are you talking about? He didn't get it.
Oh, he needs to watch the movie.
He said, I watched that movie, but I don't remember that part. Well,
I do very clearly.
Yeah, enhance. Just print the picture. Okay. Enhanced Pocket Lifesaver. What we've done is we've added a chest decompression needle. Yes, we did that. And we've added 2 pair of nitrile non-latex gloves. And we've vacuum packed it. And we're putting in the orange RATS tourniquet, not the black one.
An orange rat.
An orange RATS tourniquet. And the reason we decided to do that, because I know some of you guys out there bought the original RATS, or I'm sorry, the original PLS. The original PLS has a black RATS tourniquet, and you can see it because the packaging is clear. The reason that we put the orange one in there is so that when you grab it, you will know, because it's orange, that is the kit that has not only the gloves in it, but it also has the chest decomp needle. We understand that not every situation calls for a decomp needle. It's a specialty item that you need to be trained to use, but there are those, especially, well, if you are a Beyond the Band-Aid graduate, if you graduated from the Beyond the Band-Aid traumatic first aid class, you know how to use a chest decomp needle to save someone who is in a tension pneumothorax emergency. If you don't know what tension pneumothorax is, and you don't know what a chest decomp needle is for, then you probably don't need one. Although, you're like, you make a good point, but maybe the person who's there helping you does know how to use that gear, but for whatever reason, for whatever strange reason, they don't have any gear on them. Maybe you could hand them yours and say, oh, you're a doctor? You're a nurse? Well, I'm going to give you this medical gear. And you can, oh, wow. Yeah, EMTs always have bags on them. Well, at least most ones I've ever met roll up in their trucks and they jump out and they've got their orange or their red bag. EMTs do that. Doctors and nurses pretty much never do. I know that there's some out there like, hey, buddy, I'm a registered nurse and I keep a kit with me. Okay, congratulations. But the fact is that most don't. I've had, and when I was a cop, I encountered doctors and nurses and so forth, and they're like, well, no, when I go to work and I walk into that building, they give me all that stuff, so I don't carry it with me. But EMTs always do. So, here's the deal. If you want the Enhanced Pocket Lifesaver Kit, it's available right now at Student of the Gun Gear or SOTGU.com. Rock on. And no, we're not going to mix up. We're not going to change the colors on the RATS. Now, you can still order a RATS tourniquet in any color you want. Well, you can order it from us in black or orange, in this blaze orange. So that is the story behind the Enhanced Pocket Lifesaver Kit. You guys out there said that you wanted it, and so we made it, and drive on with your bad self. All right, Jared, you ready to give us some slave state news?
I can be ready if that's what you want me to do.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
Thank you, Puddle of Mud, for the slave state update. And that And that takes us to where? Which slave state are we going to today? Well, if you read the title of today's show, you know that we're going to the glorious People's Republic of New York. And what do we know about liberals and puke faces and scumbags and statists and progressives? What do we know about them?
I hate this guy's face.
It makes me want to vomit. Nothing is ever their fault. Step number one, this is all you need to know. If you're a progressive statist, if you are a good liberal, nothing is ever your fault. Now, you can take credit for things. You know, if something accidentally works out correctly, you can jump in there and take the credit for it, and that's no problem. But if you enact a law or let's say you act in a certain way and a certain thing happens, it's not your fault. It's never your fault. It's never the responsibility of the human. They're never accountable for their behavior or their actions. Never. We can't hold humans accountable. We can't make them responsible for their behavior, because then they might realize that they don't need Big Brother to jump into their life 24/7, 7 days a week, and make all their decisions for them. They might actually live their own lives. And if they're living their own lives, they don't need us. They don't need progressives and statists and liberals. People that are independent, that have jobs, food, housing, that take care of themselves and their communities, if they do that, well, then they don't need elitist scumbag puke faces like Andrew Cuomo. And we can't have that. We can't have the peasants thinking that they have liberty and independence. Oh, no. We can't have the peasants thinking that they have control over their own lives. No, it's never your responsibility. On September 17th, and the story comes to us from Breitbart.com. On September 17th, Governor Andrew Cuomo, Big D, told an audience at the Harlem Breakfast that New York's surging gun violence, okay, there we go, that's the play on words again, not human violence. Oh, no, there's no humans involved. It's the inanimate objects. New York's surging gun violence was not his fault or proof of the failure of gun control. Because you might be an intelligent student of the gun, you're like, how in New York, when they just passed the SAFE Act, I mean, shouldn't everyone in New York be safe now? Because they passed a law called the SAFE Act, and we know that, words make us safe, that signs make us safe, that new laws, there aren't enough laws. It's not already, against the law to commit assault or felonious assault or murder. That's not against the law, apparently. Oh, it is? But it still happens? That's crazy. And here's the nut. It's not his fault or the failure of gun control, but was the fault of states, quote, down south. Listen up, rebels. Listen up, all you Texicans. It's your fault. According to puke-faced scumbag Andrew Cuomo, yes, I said it, come down here. Jared, you think we should do like our friend Steve and send him a catalog? You know how Steve sends a catalog to Nanny Bloomberg every year, a new catalog? Maybe we should send a Student of the Gun catalog to Andrew Cuomo, a Fight You catalog. No, Cuomo's words came the day after his ex-aide Gary Gabay died from a gunshot wound he received when caught in the crossfire of gun violence. Apparently, some guns had problems with each other. There was a bunch of guns just milling around on the street in New York, and that gun's like, yo, Glock for life, man. And the other one's like, yo, simple is good, SIG. And so they had like a street gang war between the guns. No human beings were involved. No, it was the guns that were battling it out amongst themselves. I'm sorry this dude died. You know what? I'm sorry this dude died, but he died in New York. He died in a progressive liberal slave state where they think that they can basically blame the gun, blame the inanimate object. Never once. I'm waiting. Hang on. Let me keep reading. Breitbart had previously reported that there were at least 4 shootings and 1 stabbing during Brooklyn's September 7th J. Auvert Festival. Gabe was shot in the head during the festival. According to New York Daily News, Cuomo told Harlem Breakfast attendees, quote, "The cruel irony here is that we passed the toughest gun control law in the country here in New York." He was talking about the SAFE Act, which requires firearms registrations, bans assault weapons, bans high-capacity ammunition magazines, and expands background check requirements. All in the promise of reducing gun violence. But it has not worked. In fact, gun violence in New York City is surging this year. What? That can't be. That can't be. Because more laws, more malum prohibitum. Malum prohibitum makes us safe, right, Jared? Isn't that correct? Is that what we need? In America? We just need more restrictions on our daily lives?
Obviously, that's what we need because it's working so well.
So Cuomo went on to blame the South in this statement. He says, as long as you can get a gun from some state down south, put it in a trunk and drive it up, it's going to get into the state. And that's what's happening.
Aww.
Do you mean,
is this freedom?
Is this Dick Nozzle? Can I call someone a Dick Nozzle on the Family Friendly Hour?
Yeah.
Okay. So this Dick Nozzle is trying to tell me, he just admitted that evil people are always going to get weapons. Sounds a little bit like what we were talking about yesterday.
Well, yeah, but unless we're like Australia.
Oh, right.
Because they don't make weapons.
There's no evil people in Australia don't have weapons.
No, there are no terrorists. There are no criminals. There is no rape there. There's
no
nothing.
Murder.
Yeah, nothing.
But Jared, there is.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah. Oh. They actually have terrorism. They actually had a Muslim missionary grab a gun and take people hostage.
So hold on a second. Those guns had to have come from the South. Yeah,
yeah. The ones in Australia,
they got driven up there from the South.
The ones in Australia that the Muslim missionary used to terrorize the citizenry probably came from Georgia.
Yeah,
I would say, or South Carolina. Here we go. It says the gunman, however. The gunman has not been apprehended, nor the source of his gun ascertained. But that didn't stop Cuomo for pushing for more gun control. He's saying it comes back to the craziness of gun violence that we allow to occur. Listen to this disingenuous piece of human filth. I am a gun owner. I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-gun for mentally ill people and criminals. He said Congress needs to address guns with guts and courage. The moral of the story is, go ahead.
I was thinking that courage means that you have to do something that is difficult.
Well, courage could be holding human beings responsible for their behavior.
Yeah, that would be
gun
courageous. Control is the easy route. So how is that courageous?
That is exactly. 100. Thank you, Jared, for saying that. Gun control is the spineless weenies way. That's the spineless address. Oh, we can't stop humans from their horrible behavior because they're basically our voting constituency. That's our voting block right there is animalistic humans. So what are we going to do? Oh, let's blame the guns. The guns are bad. Hey, Andrew. At this festival, this wonderful West Indies festival, you know what was left out of this story, but I know it because I pay attention to what's going on in the world. The West Indies festival there in New York was plagued with violence. But obviously it was plagued with violence, not because of the people that were participating in it. Oh, no. It's not the people's fault. It's because all those guns that got in trunks and drove up from North Carolina and Virginia. Yeah, that's it exactly. I cannot believe or fathom that there's an intelligent human being on planet Earth that would listen to this puke face and actually say, "Oh, yeah, you're right, man. We need." It's never their fault. It's never their fault. And what have we been saying for how long? As long as I've drawn breath and pushed it into this black carbon steel microphone. Know this. The next time someone talks to you about reasonable gun control, tell them to shut their filthy mouth. There is no such thing as reasonable gun control. Because what have we learned? It's never, ever, ever, ever enough. When you are a statist, when you are a progressive, when you think that the people are beholden to the state and the government for everything they have, from cradle to grave, there is never enough gun control. And gun control is about control. The root word in gun control is not gun, it's control. And when you're a statist like Andrew Cuomo, you can never have enough control over the peasants. It's not enough that he screwed up his own state. Now he's calling for members of Congress to have guts, and I want you. It's like Nanny Bloomberg. Yeah, I went ahead and screwed up New York, and I enslaved the people there. I helped enslave the people in the state of New York. But that's not enough. I want to enslave the whole country. I want to spread my poison and my filthy, dirty money to Washington and Oregon and Colorado and everywhere else so that I can help enslave the entire country. Because it's not enough to enslave New York and New Jersey. Oh, no, that's not enough. It's never their fault. And if you listen to it, if you buy into it, like I said, the next time someone talks to you about reasonable gun control, tell them to shut their filthy mouth. Because there is no such thing. You can either be an American citizen and understand that human beings need to be held responsible for their behavior, whatever that behavior is, or you can be a liberal, progressive puke face, or you can be a comfortable slave. There's far too many comfortable slaves in the United States of America, and I hope that you're not participating. All right, that's it. Derp, 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 derp. The clock on the wall says it's time for me to close my mouth and to move on. But fear not. Fear not. We will be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the last day this week for you public members.
Well, yeah. Thank you for. Well, it'll be the last day of the public broadcast. And tomorrow we're gonna focus on tomorrow, detailed reminding you or letting you know. Actually, someone said to me yesterday, someone who listened to the show and I met in person, said, "How do I get that bonus hour? How do I get that Friday show? I don't know how I do that." Apparently, we are not doing a good enough job explaining it. So I guess we have to speak louder so people can listen louder.
The new one is going to be available
yeah, so
pretty much now.
Yeah, when we talk about it
there's some
Thursday,
people that are already in there.
On Thursday, people will know.
Yeah.
All right, kids, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.